Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are slicing through a topic that a lot of people use but very few truly understand. Personal sexual lubricants. We aren't just wading into comfort and friction. We're going deeper, talking about the underlying chemistry, cellular safety, and even the serious science of fertility implications.
It's a huge area of sexual health, and it's often treated so superficially. But the numbers are pretty striking. A U.S. survey found that 70% of men
70%.
and 65.5% of women regularly use lubricants. So their use is completely normal, it's highly beneficial, and often essential for comfort, for fighting dryness or dyspareunia.
Which is the clinical term for pain during sex, right?
Exactly.
Right. And our mission for you today is to turn this stack of sources. We've got practical tips from a university health service, critical safety consensus from the UNFPA and the WHO, and hard fertility data from human fertility into knowledge you can use immediately.
From the bedroom to the lab results.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's unpack this. Let's start with the basics, the practical stuff. If someone's reaching for lube, the first question is usually, where does it go? Where should they actually put it?
Well, the general consensus is generous and pretty much everywhere.
Okay.
The rule here is definitely the more the merrier. You can apply it on the penis, the vulva, directly inside the vagina, inside and outside a condom.
On a dental dam, too.
On a dental dam, anywhere that may feel good if you're feeling dry. Applying it on both yourself and your partner is a great idea. Too much is always, always better than not enough.
I appreciate the simplicity there. It just cuts through any awkwardness. And I assume if you're worried about the cleanup after being so generous, water-based is the way to go.
Oh, absolutely. They make it effortless. But, speaking of comfort, especially for something like first-time penetrative sex, the sources were really emphatic about this. Lube is just a starting point.
It's not a magic fix for pain.
No, it's only one part of the solution. The core key is communication, taking things very, very slowly and ensuring you're physically ready.
That makes so much sense. The experts are clear.
Yeah?
You have to give your body the time it needs to prepare. It's all about maximizing natural arousal and wetness before penetration.
Right.
So things like making out, massages, reading erotica together, oral sex, fingering, all of that minimizes the reliance on the lube to do all the heavy lifting.
The physical preparation is crucial. It's the piece that gets overlooked when people are just focused on the bottle. Lube is a helper, not the main event.
Okay, so we've covered comfort. But what happens when convenience clashes with safety? Because not all slick feels equal, and we need to move from application to, chemistry.
Precisely. And what's fascinating here is that the base ingredient dictates everything. The safety, the compatibility. We basically break them down into three core categories: water-based, silicone-based, and oil-based.
And the risks of getting that base wrong seem pretty significant. I know so many people who just grab, whatever's in the kitchen. Coconut oil, Vaseline, baby oil, because it's right there. Is the risk of breaking a latex condom really that dramatic?
It's catastrophic. This is the one rule everyone has to internalize. Those oil-based products, they chemically degrade latex condoms dramatically.
So it's not just a small tear we're talking about.
No, you are increasing the probability of total condom failure, which obviously elevates your risk of STI transmission or unintended pregnancy instantly. It's a hard and fast rule. Oil and latex must never meet.
Okay. Danger zone established. So let's talk about the safe alternatives, starting with the most common one, water-based lube.
Water-based is the versatile standard. They're non-staining, super easy to clean, and they're universally safe with all condoms, latex and non-latex, and all sex toys.
But the drawback is they dry out.
That's the one thing. Because they're water-soluble, they tend to dry out pretty quickly, which just means you might need to reapply during longer sessions.
Okay, then you have the durable choice, silicone-based. They last a lot longer.
They do, because they aren't water-soluble, so they're perfect for extended play, anal sex, or shower sex. And they are safe with latex condoms.
But there's a catch, right?
And here's where it gets really interesting. While they're amazing for durability, there's one major warning: if you use a silicone-based lube with a silicone sex toy.
Oh, that's frustrating.
It can damage the toy. It actually breaks down the material over time, creating these tiny micro tears on the toy's surface.
Where bacteria can grow.
Exactly. Bacteria can harbor in there. So you have to check what your toys are made of before you use a silicone lube. It's the one big exception.
Right. And finally, a word of caution on the specialty lubes. The warming, tingling, or flavored ones, they sound fun, but
They're often loaded with unnecessary additives, things like sugars, mint, or capsaicin. And these can really disrupt the natural, delicate pH balance of the vagina.
Causing irritation?
Irritation, burning, itching, and it significantly increases the risk of infections. We're talking bacterial vaginosis or yeast infections. It's a trade-off between novelty and your health.
This brings us to the most critical section in our sources, the hidden chemistry. Lubricants are actually classified as medical devices.
They are.
And their internal chemistry matters much more than just how they feel. We need to talk about two massive concepts, osmolality and pH.
This is the true deep dive moment. Osmolality is so critical because it's just a measure of particle concentration in the solution.
Okay.
And that concentration determines the direction of water flow, whether water rushes into or out of the epithelial cells that line the vagina and rectum.
Okay, particle concentration sounds a little like high school chemistry. Can you ground this for us? Is there an analogy to help visualize the danger?
Absolutely. Think about soaking your hands in extremely salty water for a long time. That high salt concentration literally pulls water out of your skin. Your fingers get all shriveled and dry.
Right.
That is hyperosmolality in action. The concentration outside the cell is much higher than inside, so water is forced out.
Wow. And many common commercial lubricants are way over the WHO's recommended limit, which is less than 1,200 mg/kg. So what happens internally when that salty solution is applied to sensitive tissue?
The sources call it the silent toxicity of hyperosmolality. If the lubricant is too concentrated, it literally sucks the water right out of those sensitive epithelial cells.
So the cells actually shrink.
They shrink, they die, and they slew off. You might not feel any immediate burning or pain, but you've effectively created microscopic wounds in your mucosal lining.
Microscopic wounds that compromise the body's natural defenses.
Exactly. That cellular damage leaves the tissue irritated and significantly more susceptible to infection, including serious STIs like HIV. The barrier is broken. This is why the chemistry matters so much more than just the feel of the product.
And it's not just osmolality. We also have to consider pH. A healthy vaginal environment is naturally acidic, right? Somewhere between 3.8 and 4.5.
That acidity is the body's first line of defense. It maintains a healthy microbiome. So using a lubricant with a very different pH, something highly alkaline, for instance, can just throw that whole environment off.
And it's not just the number, but something called the lubricant's buffering capacity.
That's right. Its ability to resist changes in pH oil-based lubes, and those with a high buffering capacity, can shift the pH too dramatically and keep it shifted for too long. In fact, using oil-based products in the vagina has been consistently linked to higher rates of both BV and yeast infections.
Okay, let's move to a crucial area for many listeners. Fertility. For couples trying to conceive, or TTC, dryness can be a real issue, so they reach for lubricants. What does the science say about what these products do to sperm?
The primary focus in the science is on sperm motility, so how well the sperm move and swim. And that's because motility is very strongly linked to pregnancy rates. The review we looked at used a really useful red, amber, green, or RG rating system.
A color-coded list. I like it.
Yeah.
So what landed on the green list? What's favorable?
The green list, meaning they had favorable outcomes or no significant negative impact on motility, included a few specific options. Pre-seed was consistently reported as sperm-friendly.
Okay.
And interestingly, the list also included some household oils like Johnson's baby oil, canola oil, and even egg white.
That's good to know. But conversely, what about the red list? Which popular, widely available products had a detrimental impact?
This is critical information. The red list, so the ones with a consistently detrimental impact on sperm motility or viability, it includes very common brands. KY Jelly, Astroglide, Replens, olive oil, yes, and KY Jelly warming.
Wait a second. KY Jelly and Astroglide are maybe the two most famous brands in the world? And the science is clear that they decrease sperm motility. Astroglide decreased it in all studies they looked at.
In all of them.
That is genuinely shocking. Why are they so widely used by couples trying to conceive then?
It's a major disconnect. It probably speaks to slow research uptake versus just powerful brand recognition. We can guess their negative impact is linked to what we just talked about.
The osmolality.
They might be hyperosmolar, just pulling water out of the sperm cells, or their pH is creating a hostile environment that immobilizes them.
So with all this, did the research actually provide a robust, comprehensive guideline for consumers?
Unfortunately, no. And that's the biggest challenge. The vast majority of over-the-counter lubricants, 25 out of 35 that they looked at, fall into the amber category.
Amber meaning what?
meaning they were only studied once, or they had inconclusive, conflicting findings, like Conceive Plus, for instance. The whole area is just riddled with ambiguity.
And that comes down to inconsistent research methods, right? The science itself isn't standardized.
Exactly. Studies lacked standardization in things like the lube concentration they used or the incubation time. Even worse, most failed to outline the technical methods for the semen analysis, which limits reliability. And, labeling a lube sperm safe based only on motility is restrictive.
There's more to it than just movement.
Of course. Future studies need to look at other critical factors, like the sperm's ability to undergo the acrosome reaction or hyperactivation.
Okay, let's bring this all together for our listener. Key takeaways. Prioritize water or silicone-based products for general use.
Absolutely. And never, ever use oil-based products with latex.
And be very aware that those flavor or warming additives carry a real risk of irritation and disrupting your natural pH balance.
And remember the unseen science. Choosing a lube is a personal tool, but osmolality and pH matter. Safety is about more than just feel. It's about protecting your cellular health and minimizing infection risk.
And for those TTC couples, the advice seems to be, until the science catches up, stick to those few confirmed green-rated products like Pre-Seed or certain oils. Don't trust brand recognition alone when motility is on the line.
Right. And recognize that no product is 100% confirmed as sperm safe until we have more research. It's a challenge because formulations are always changing too.
Indeed. Which brings us to a final thought. Given that lubricant formulations are always changing, and even a brand like KY Jelly has been studied since 1972 with wildly different results, should future research focus less on constantly retesting every new product and more on quantifying the exact chemical properties and concentrations that are universally safe?
Building a standard.
Exactly.
Right.
We need stable, evidence-based standards, not endless product retesting. Something to mull over until our next deep dive.